game show gig. Marc Summers is here from the Game Show Network. This is your official welcome, sir.
Thank you.
How are you?
You guys are terrific. I got to tell you, this is such an easy-going feeling here, and it's
just lay
actually
back
entertaining.
We let it work for us.
We're just trying to eke out 4 hours a day. Let's first of all try reestablish. Marc Summers is the guy you've seen hosting Double Dare with your kids on Nickelodeon, where the kids are in the goo and the slime and the crud.
You drop the slime on you and you go through the obstacle course.
Yeah.
Tell us some of the other shows you've hosted.
Well, after Double Dare, I did What Would You Do on Nickelodeon. I hosted a show called Couch Potatoes that was in syndication. Listen to all that beautiful game show music behind
you. Right. This is a nice CD. Thank you, by the way, for that.
You're welcome.
It's
courtesy of Game Show Network. Yeah, you can get it in all the record stores. I hosted the 20th anniversary of Nova, which was a game show that we turned it into, and another show called Pick Your Brain. I made a living actually, giving away fabulous prizes to people for a number of years.
Does the Game Show Network, are they seeing a lot of people picking up the game show themed CD to play in their home stereo units? Is that going to be a popular?
I have it in my car,
do you?
and I play it on the CD in the car. It just, I don't know, it drives me nuts, but it's great stuff. Yeah, Game Show Network. It's 24 hours of game shows.
I love it.
Sony owns it. Do you have it?
Yes, I do.
Oh, great. Now,
yes, I do.
What's your favorite one to watch?
When I wake up in the morning, the old Password with Alan Ludden is on.
Yep.
Vicki Lawrence, boy, was she good. She was good at Password.
I was good on that show. I actually was a guest on that show. And
the old Password?
Yeah, believe it or not.
No.
Yeah.
That was like, you were 2.
Well, I was on with when Bert Convy took over after Alan Ludden passed away.
Now, were you ever a contestant on one of these game shows?
I never was.
God, I always wanted to be on
I've
The Price
always
is
wanted.
Right.
Now I know everybody, so I can't do it. But my first job, I was 21 or 22, and I was writing Truth or Consequences for Bob Barker back in 1974. So I never
writing for Bob?
Yeah.
How old are you?
I'm 46.
You look about 35.
Oh, you're such a nice guy.
No, seriously, you look like you're about 35 years old.
Thanks. I have a kid going into college, man.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
That's weird.
I've always wanted to be on The Price is Right. Always. I
was a page on Price is Right.
Were you?
Really?
Yeah. Always wanted to be on that damn show. How they pick the weirdest people. Do they go out, they go out in the hallway and look for the people with
they
the
line up.
letters?
No, what they do is they line up out in front for about 3 hours before the show starts, and the producers go down and interview each person, 300 people, and they kind of look for crazy, eccentric, whacked out people who will show that they'll jump up and down and scream if they get on stage and win prizes, as opposed to Let's Make a Deal, which is coming back, where people had to wear funny hats and dress as a radish or something like that.
I couldn't find the cut in here, but because I was on Scrabble.
Oh, you were?
I was on Scrabble with
it.
Chuck Woolery. In the early 80s.
Yes.
The biggest choke job in the history of game shows.
What happened?
Hey, Todd?
He choked on the easiest
It
question.
was the
I forgot
easiest
what it was.
question. See if we have Scrabble.
The clues were a little strange. Well, they used to do celebrity versions, and Woolery would play, and I would host the show, and I would sometimes be baffled by some of the clues they would give. So,
the first letter is B, the last one is D, and you use it to make sandwiches. That's about how easy it was.
Come on, are you serious?
It was something.
Hey, but listen, when you're on TV for the first time and the lights are there, you're scared out of your mind. It just happens all the time.
You know what? So I won one of those dopey things that you hook onto the side of your bathtub that makes it a whirlpool.
Did you ever use it?
It is in my closet in my bedroom, still completely unopened.
The home
souvenir.
hot tub.
That's hysterical.
It was a Daisy hot tub. It was
Daisy hot tub. That's somehow when you're plugging something into the wall and then sticking it in the water. I'm not so sure I want to be a part of that.
Congratulations, Jimmy. You've won a Daisy hot tub.
In all of your years of hosting all of these game shows, did you ever go out or ask out one of the contestants?
No, I've been married for so long, I never had that opportunity.
Never had the
I got married when I was 22 years old, so
You're not Jerry Springer.
24 years
Now, what do you think of Springer? You're a TV guy.
Jerry happens to be a good friend of mine.
I like Jerry.
So
don't talk about Jerry, Fram.
I'm just asking Mark what he thinks of him.
What do I think? Jerry is I'm going to tell you, an incredibly bright man, and I was with him last September at the Jerry Lewis Telethon, and I said, tell me the truth, and he said, I made a pact with the devil. Those were his lines, and I know what they're paying him, and he just built a beautiful house down in Florida, he's got a boat, and he knows this is pretty much his last gig.
Sure.
And,
but did he make a pact with the devil? The guy is just given.
He better redo the contract because they're taking the fights out now on the show in the afternoon.
They just started, but the ratings have stayed the same, and I think it's because the kids are still home. But I think certainly when school starts again,
I need the fights.
I'm that kind of TV I just hate, though. I just think it's bad television.
You've been on Politically Incorrect.
Yes, I have.
How was that for you?
It was one of the most frightening experiences I've ever had in my life. It's a tough show. I tell you why. You're backstage, and they go over a series of topics, and they said, well, if Bill said this, what would you say? If Bill said that, what would you say? And they say, first of all, this is the antithesis of game shows, or of talk shows. You have to jump in. You have to interrupt. If we don't interrupt, we don't have a show. And I was picked to kind of jump in first. And of the 6 or 7 topics they said we were going to talk about, Bill never got to any of those. He went a whole other direction.
No.
And I thought I really sucked on the show. I gotta tell
Who were you on with?
Who was I on with? Nancy Glass.
She's pretty, isn't she?
Yeah, she's great.
She's a looker.
And she is smart. I got to tell you, she was very funny in that.
You don't get on that show unless you're smart.
Yeah, well I got on. Erica Zhang was
Sometimes they
on.
bring a fish in to mess
Well,
with.
Pauly Shore's been on that show.
please.
So.
That's what I'm saying.
Who else?
Anybody ever understand that deal, man? I just,
No.
I think and his mother owns the Comedy Store. She has pictures of everybody in Hollywood with animals or something.
Yeah, yeah.
It's incredible.
You were in radio, right?
I
Before?
started off in radio, yeah.
Funny story you just told. Who replaced you at your one job?
I was working at WBMP FM in Elwood, Indiana, and I was doing weekends from 6 to 11. I left, and some guy by the name of Dave Letterman came in and replaced me.
He had the
wow.
next shift. He was doing the beef factory in Indiana, right?
That's it.
That is wild.
Yeah.
I want to go back to we opened up this segment with the Newlywed Game, with some clips from the Newlywed Game, and before we went on there, we were talking about this. I have always maintained. Now everybody's heard the story, the famous Newlywed Game question when Bob Eubanks says to the couple, "Where's the most unusual place you and your husband have ever made love or made whoopee, as you say?" And the woman says, "In the butt, Bob."
Right.
And I have always said that story. I've never met anybody who has seen that tape. I've never met anybody who can actually say that happened. And you said,
I just did Rosie O'Donnell with Eubanks and a bunch of other game show hosts, and that topic came up, and Bob said,
This interview isn't over. More after a quick break. You can also find it and more on the Morning X with Barnes and Leslie podcast. You're inside the best of the Morning X.